Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything in between in the wide world of Warhammer. And welcome to our Thursday Tactics sessions. We're very excited to be here today talking about Emperor's Children lists. We're going to be looking at them, reviewing them, discussing what are maybe some themes we've seen in the first week or so of content being released. It's an exciting time. My name is Adrian, and I'm joined today by Brian. There'll be Leva. Welcome on in, everybody. Hopefully everyone's having a lovely day. We'll just check. I'm going to do a little refresh on chat. Boom, boom, boom. Excellent. Welcome in, everybody. What's up, Willow? Thanks so much for joining us. There we go. Got a little refresh. Perfect. Yeah, so we're going to give people a little chance to bustle on in. Normally, this is a members-only stream. This is normally for members, and it's kind of extra content we like to do. We talk about tactics, we talk about strategy, we talk about list building, and it's just a chance to kind of dive into a specific topic each week. However, today is the first Thursday of the month, which means we do it for free, open to everyone, maybe tempt you into the membership. It's a great time. Speaking of memberships, big welcome and welcome back to Eric Toll, Quick Merlin, Lilithara, and Bubenji. Great to have all y'all as captains. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Ryan, how are you doing today?
I am doing very well. I was waiting for a pause.
Sorry, I just kept going.
Yeah, but you just kept talking. That's totally fine, you know?
I'm so energized. I'm so excited. I love this faction.
Yeah, you are very excited for this. Probably more so than anybody in the studio. And I say probably, but definitely more so than anybody in the studio. I'm excited for this, though, because I haven't actually taken really a super in-depth look at the book.
Yeah.
You and I have had conversations about it whenever we had first actually gotten our hands on it. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, I haven't done too much delving in.
I don't even think, have you even played against it yet?
I have not, no.
Yeah,
it's been all Bridger.
Bridger, Shane. Well, I'm excited because we are going to play today, Brian's first game against the new book. Mm-hmm. I'm going to play Coteries versus the Reaper's Wager, which is another one we've had a lot of requests for. Yep. I have this like weird sub-theme going on where I keep wearing Harlequin shirts for the Emperor's Children episodes.
It's all, they go together, it's fine.
You know, what can I say? Slanesh, big fan of the Eldar.
Yeah, they actually love them.
Yeah. Sort of like surrogate parents there, so, you know, always a good thing. What's up, Genny NJ, Thunder, Midwinter, Magnus did nothing wrong, Chrono, welcome on in. Coterie is for sure the coolest of them. Well, that's what we're here to discuss, folks. There are 6 detachments in the army. I'll give some overall thoughts on list building, some trends I'm seeing. We do have a thread up in Discord in which you can go ahead and submit your lists. We have one just up in chat if you scroll up. And a big thank you, as always, to Willow and Melody for help creating that thread, mediating that thread, things like that. If you do submit a list, we do ask that you create a paste bin for it. It makes it easier for us to share and pull up on the screen. So that's the plan. We will probably have a cutoff at some point just because we can't stream forever. We do have a game to prepare for later on.
Yes.
Beautiful. So Emperor's Children. This book is very interesting. It is not a particularly deep book in terms of units.
Right.
And so we see a few all-stars return time and time and time again. Lucius, amazing unit. I think you're going to see him in every single dang list. I'm still maintaining that he's best as a lone character. Lone op, fight first. Just incredibly powerful. So that's a mainstay, obviously. Noise Marines we're seeing in every list. Some lists are running 2, some lists are running 3, but everyone is taking at least some level of Noise Marines, which is good.
Yeah, it would be a real shame if you got a book and they have like one unit that's theirs, and it's just so bad you can't play it. That would be so depressing.
I know. They're interesting because, and this is the theme throughout the Emperor's Children book, is they're great. They're amazing into the targets that they want to go into. Mm-hmm. They're not the most flexible units, right? And Noise Marines kind of fit in that, which is probably a good, balance-wise, a good thing. So you see those. Sometimes you'll see a Lord Cacophonous to give them sustained. Sometimes you don't. That's not like a mainstay necessarily. The troops are very interesting. Battle line, and remember, if you're not familiar, the Noise Marines not battle lines. You only get 3 squads,
which is kind of crazy to me.
It's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild.
I guess they were worried about 6 units, but at the same time, I'm like,
I mean, it is a lot of shots. It's a lot of DACA. If you were able to take that many of them.
Yeah.
But
it's weird, right?
Berserkers, you can have 120.
Yeah.
Rubric Marines, you can have however many Ruby Greens you want, 60, I guess, they can only go to 10s. I believe Berserkers can only go to 10-man squads.
Yeah, they go to 10. So
okay, so you have 60, sure.
Yeah,
but like all of
you can have
the
18 of these guys.
the Colt Marines can all be taken in 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of sad that they didn't do the same with Noise Marines. I think it's a bit of a miss, in my opinion. But again, they're probably just worried about
spamming them out.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing is, unlike they're kind of like the Terminators in some regards, 4,000 Suns, I guess you can compare them to, because they do have troops. We have the Tormentors and the Infractors.
Right.
And people are generally liking them. Basically, you have one that is sticky, objective holding, and infiltrate. The other one is basically your Legionaries reroll to wound on objectives package. And I'm seeing mixes of them. I know, I'm pretty sure we have a Willow list in here. Willow's very bullish on the infiltrate sticky objectives. I like them a lot as like for the buffs that they give. Well, I like them a lot as a unit. The melee squad I like better as like a buff. Basically, you're paying 85 points to buff up the lords, which are amazing.
Right.
I think the characters are all stars in these lists. So generally speaking, you're seeing some combination of these troops. Art of War, I'm not going to give away all their members' content for free, but I am a member of the War Room. It's been interesting watching their first takes, and they're pretty bullish on a couple squads of each in like the core of each list, which is cool. Mainstays, let's see. Fulgrim, he's in most lists. I know there are complaints about what he does, but he's still making it into the list. I'm still hard-pressed to take him out because he fulfills a unique role.
Right.
Even if he's not what some people expected, he does a thing.
Right. I think that's kind of just the theme of this codex, where you're taking these units to fulfill a specific purpose. There's not a lot of all-arounders, right? I think the most all-around thing in the army is probably the Rhino.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah,
right. More of a meme than anything else.
Exactly.
But I wonder how much of these lists are having Fulgrim in it just because he's the new thing and he's super exciting and he's a Primarch, as opposed to because he is worth it actually being there. Yeah. That's something that I am curious about. Again, I haven't actually played against the army. I haven't played with the army, so I don't genuinely know. But that is a question I've asked many a time, because it's kind of like when Mortarion was being taken around, like when he was not 300 points, when he was still way more expensive, and people were still taking him. Is it just because he's the Primarch and he's the leader of the army and it's cool, or is it because he actually has some type of use?
Exactly. Especially in the early days, there are people who are kind of playing because the points are public and the rules are public, more or less. But it's a lot of like content creators, and like frankly, we all just kind of want to play with Fulgrim too.
Right,
so
exactly.
we'll kind of see how that hashes out. He is kind of like the exemplar of the Emperor's Children army in the sense that, again, he's great into what he's great in. He has weaknesses. You got to play him very, very carefully. And I think in that role, he is fantastic and unique. So, yeah, Melody points out he moves 16. That's just so good. And because of his role, he's often using the advance and charge, advance and shoot. And it's not really a concern because he's not necessarily going into something that your other units are going into, right? So he really can take advantage of that.
And you don't really lose a ton of stuff because he doesn't actually buff the army.
Right.
The other Primarchs, they do. Angron doesn't, but Angron's just.
No, he does.
Does he?
He gives rerolls.
Okay, right, cool. So all the other Primarchs, they buff the army.
Yeah.
Except for Fulgrim. He doesn't do anything. So like sending him in as like a missile to go and fight something or tag something up or whatever the case is, doesn't feel as bad because you're not losing out on any of the stuff that your army wants.
Right. Exactly.
Except for maybe close to 400 points.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I think something at times about whether the other things you could fit in that. Travis says he's good outside of Coterie and Carnival. I think I like him in Carnival a lot. In Carnival, he's got sustained 5s, and that helps negate some of his swinginess, to be honest. Yeah. It's effectively like another plus. Every time you have like sustained, it's effectively a +1 to hit if your weapon skill is good enough. So yeah. Let's see. Death equals no poison. Correct. Unlike Ionis in Sigmar, if Fulgrim poisons someone, the poison only continues to work if he's alive because it's on his data sheet. I think that's personally a miss, but whatever. It's like psychic venom, so if he dies, then he's not causing it. I think that it's not real venom, right? Okay, cool. So I feel like I'm going through most of the units in the book, though. Rhinos are making the rounds in all the lists. Chaos Spawn are making the rounds in all the lists because they're cheap. They have a 6-inch flat reactive move. They're awesome. I would say those are the ones that you see in virtually every list. I think people really like the Demon Princes of both variety. I think that's awesome. Flawless Blades, Lane Raiders, Mauler Fiends, Helldrakes. Those are the things that are not necessarily making the rounds just yet. So I think most lists, like when I make a list, it starts with Fulgrim, Lucius.
Yep.
One of each troop, generally. And then 3 Noise Marines.
And Rhinos.
And Rhinos. I've been messing around with 2 Rhinos, and I think it can be fine. But I think transports are great. And then 2 units of spawn. That's like the core of it. So that's some thoughts. What's up, Doc Mel? Welcome in chat. Yeah, poison needs FAQ. Same with coterie picking 0 and using the +1 to dedication number with a dead warlord. I'm not sure how that interacts with the poison. Liam says he's playing it as the poison lasts. I don't see how it could in any way last. Because he's dead.
Yeah, you can't use his data sheet anymore once he's gone.
If he was to go back in reserve, it would still work. Because your rules work when you're off the table. But if he's dead, he's dead. So I'm gonna fight Liam on that one. Anyways, I'm sure we're gonna have more overall thoughts. Let's dive on into the list so we have as much time as possible to look at what y'all are doing. All right, so let's take a look. We've got the first list of the day. As always, the privilege of this goes to, oh, sorry. I want to make sure I get the context for the list as well. You guys can see the list. I'm pretty sure this is Willow. Yep, this is Willow. I feel like this is my starting point for his children in general. I will probably play Fulgrim for fun, but if I was going to an event, I'd probably be something like this. My pace bin is short 5 infractors. Okay. Wait, but you can modify your pace bin. Should we modify it? Anyways, Willow, let's take a look. So this is Peerless Bladesman, which is when you charge, you can choose either lethal or sustained hits. Demon Prince with Wings. Demon Prince with Wings, big fan. So for clarifying, if you're not familiar, the Demon Prince with Wings, beyond just moving fast, has the belly flop mortals on the charge and -1 damage. It's real good.
It's real good.
And then Distortion and Blinding Speed. These are the fight first once per game. And then also the +1 attack, +1 damage relics. So one of these is a 4 damage sword, and the other one has fight first once per game, which I love on Demon Princes.
Yeah, it's such a huge deterrent. Like, you can't do anything.
Right. Once per game is all you need, right?
That's literally it.
Yeah. Lucius, of course, Lord Exultant with Faultless Opportunity. Maybe we can pull that one up, because I'm forgetting which enhancement that is. Another Lord Exultant, 3 Tormentors. Again, as I mentioned, Willow very bullish on the Sticky Obsec. Thinking about like Yannari and things like that. Unit of Chaos Spawn, 2 units of 6 Flawless Blades. I know Willow's also very positive on them. A Rhino, and 2 Wart Dog Brigands. So Faultless Opportunity? Faultless Opportunist.
Yep, there it is.
What's that one do?
You can target the Barriers unit with Heroic Intervention Stratagem for 0 CP, and can do so even if you've already targeted a different unit with that stratagem this phase.
I like that. And as you can see here, it is cheap. 15 points is fantastic. They won't have fight first, but who cares? Like, they're just a good, tough unit.
Yep.
And people are going to want to try to pick you off individually and like stop your fight first from fighting, and you can do wacky stuff with this. So I like this list a lot. My question is, where are your lords going, Willow? Because they can't join the Faultless Blades. Are they really going in your infiltratee squads? I'm intrigued if they are.
What's the unit? The Infractors?
Infractors is the infiltrate one.
Okay.
Sorry, Infractors is the melee one, which is where I would normally put my lords.
Right.
While Willow is...
So Lucius, I assume, just stays alone. Right?
Yeah, I think I would. Give us some context. One with Infractor. Oh, that's right. There is one Infractor. You later mentioned that. And then one with Tormentors or solo. Okay. All right, cool. That's kind of cool because, so the Lords have an interesting ability, which I love. When they join Infractors or Tormentors, they gain the relevant ability.
Right.
So they gain Scout if they join the Scouting unit, they gain Infiltrate if they join the Infiltrate unit. And although this is not really a melee squad, again, the Lords are kind of the all-star here. So that's cool. Lucius could join a squad or not based off the matchup. Yeah, makes sense. The Faultless Blades are an interesting one, and I think I'm curious to see what people think, because I'm so hot or cold on them. On one hand, I do think they're missing an attack or a damage on their profile, but they are cheap right now. It's 110 for 3 of them, and so for 220, Willow has talked about just using these as missiles with a ton of damage. They're auto-wounding. They do solve a problem that the army has, which is wounding big things. The army struggles into high toughness, and these guys just simply will not.
Yeah, I mean, on 3s, it's pretty good.
It's pretty dang good, and you can amp up the damage here. You can give them +1 AP, so they're going to AP 4 in this detachment.
Right.
And then you do sustain instead of lethal, obviously.
Right, because you're going to be winning on 3s anyways. You want the extra attacks.
Yeah. So if there's a detachment that uses the flawless blades,
this is probably it.
This is the one.
Yeah.
So I like this list a lot. What do you think?
I think it's good. It also recognizes a problem that we were kind of alluding to earlier, in which you don't really have a good answer for large things. So you have like the brigands to come in and kind of like shore up the weaknesses the rest of the army kind of falls into. Yeah. I'm pretty into it. Again, I haven't seen it on the table. I'd be curious about the demon princes, if having 2 of them is worth the points, because that's a lot of points in just characters.
Yeah.
And then not a lot of other stuff. And it's probably fine because Marines are generally tougher. Like looking at it from like the outside in, right? Whenever I make lists that have a ton of characters, the rest of the army has to be able to make up that deficit in like a meaningful way.
Right.
And because everything here is so specific in what it wants to go into, can it actually do that?
Yes.
Is my question.
Absolutely. I think my instinct from the few games I played is yes, but you do have to be careful. I haven't tried double wings. I've been kind of messing with both of them because the foot one gets loan up, and you can do funky things with. It's loan up when you're next to infantry, and you can put them with Lucius, and they both are loan up.
Nice.
So I think it's a valid concern. I'm curious about it. Dave was asking, what's the best way to run these Tormentors and Infractors, MSU or a unit of 10? Generally speaking, I'd say units of 5 because they give value that they just give by existing. Right. So if you exist twice, you give that benefit twice. The only exception is, I would say, if you are running the Mercurial Host, there's a redeploy strat. 1 unit of 10 infiltrators is great because you can string along the middle objective if you're going middle of the field if you're deploying first, and then pick them up and tuck them back down. You've screened out the whole table. That's the only time I would really think about a big squad. Let's see. Willow's saying maybe you cut the spawn and make it 10 infractors with the fight first lord to play similar to world leaders do with the MOE. It's fair, but I mean honestly, to exactly what Brian was saying, I think you want squads. I like the chaos spawn here. Yeah. I think, like looking at it now, you have the 2 tormentors and the chaos spawn. Those are your only throwaway units. Yeah. You know, the war dogs I think are going to be hunting transports to crack. Yep. And they can trade. I think they're still a good early game kind of trading back and forth, but it is 165 points. That's almost twice the points of the other things. Yeah, you don't have a lot of insignificant units in this list, mostly because like characters are going in to the Tormentors or the Infractors. Right. And then also you have like all your characters, like I mentioned earlier. So like there's not anything that you feel good with throwing away. And I guess good is a relative term, right? Because it could just be like, oh, I got enough value out of this Lord and the Tormentors trading on this unit. I feel okay with this. But like most often, it's tough. The squads are very expensive, and so you need to be able to recoup that value. I really struggled with that in my first games with this book, where I was like, it was this exact thing. I'm like, I'm putting Lords and Infractor in, and I'm trading so down, but I had to put something in. Right. So, very cool list. Thanks, Willow. Next up, let's take a look. This one's from Yusuf. Not sure I've got the punch to play, but feel I could score well regardless. Maybe a different detachment would suit. All right, let's take a look. This one is called, I just closed it. This one's called Yusuf's First Power Armor Army. Thanks, Yusuf. Shout out, one of our fantastic mods and just all around nice person. So let's take a look. Emperor's Kids, Coterie of the Conceited. So Coterie we're going to be playing today. This one is, if your warlord's on the table or live maybe, you can promise to get an X number of kills this turn. It might be around. And if you deliver on that or exceed it, then you gain that many points for your chart. It's kind of a power from pain chart. It goes reroll hits of 1, wound rolls of 1, lethal, sustained, and it stacks.
Oh, I love that. That's such a cool mechanic.
It's very fun.
That's such a cool mechanic.
If you fail to fulfill it, your warlord takes D3 wounds, and then if your warlord is dead, you can't actually generate anymore because it's based off that. Beyond there being a strat that gives you, it ups it by 1. So you have to be a bit careful, but they're pretty cool. And then, if I may, they have some cool strats to sort of highlight and talk about real quick. Again, this is all kind of context for the list. So coteries, we'll talk about the enhancements when we see what Yusuf has. We have ignore modifiers on hit. We have, what is this? Oh, this is force fights into someone. This is full hit rerolls in melee. Increase the pledge, as we talked about. They do have armor contempt. Of course. They're the only one that has this, which is kind of cool. So the list itself, Lucius, Lord Exultant, 2 Cacophonists, and a Demon Prince. Excellent. 6 Flawless Blades. Okay, so we're seeing them again. 2x5 Infractors, 2x5 Tormentors. Love it. 2x6 Noise Marines. Love it. Lane Raider, Rhino, 3 units of 2 spawns. And then you don't have points for enhancements, so 75 for. Okay, well, we can help you with that. And he's looking at running the Pledge of Eternal Servitude and the Pledge of Unholy Fortune. The Pledge of Eternal Servitude is the first time they die, take a leadership test, and if you pass, you get up with d6 wounds. Great. Very like Lucius, and that's on the Demon Prince. This is a Foot Prince, by the way, who, interesting enough, gains the Lone Up. He also fights on death on a 2+. He
and
also
stand back up.
and he gets back up now, and it just keeps going. He gives Slanesh units +1 AP when they charge near him,
that's pretty good.
which is great.
Yeah.
And then Pledge of Unholy Fortune is the... Oh, interesting. You like this one, huh? Once per turn for the unit, after you make a hit, wound, or a saving roll, you can auto-6 it. I'm not the biggest fan. The problem with this is I want it on a Lord when I also have a different enhancement in it. You know, like the Dev wounds, +1 damage.
Does the... This is on the Lord, never mind.
It's on the Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
And then...
Is it for just him, or is it for the unit?
It's for the unit. So you could, like...
I guess...
But there's nothing big other than like a Melta,
Right,
and I don't think you want this in a shooting squad. Let me pull up the points real quick. I can't show you, but I can tell you. So for reference, which one is this? Coteries.
Coteries. And it's Pledge of Unholy Fortune.
Unholy Fortune is 20 points.
And then the Eternal Servitude.
That is 25 points. So 45 points total, leaves you with 30 points. And the auto 6 is the Fortune, so you're paying 20 points for that.
That's pretty steep.
The thing is, if you didn't take that...
Not this
Oh, you've already... You have 75 points. 75 is so awkward.
So you're using 25 for the Servitude, not Servitude. Servitude.
Yeah, so you have 50
So
left.
that'd be 50. What does 50 get you?
Nothing. Dang, that's so frustrating.
That's really annoying.
Okay, well, let's talk about the list, and we can maybe jam on how we kind of fill out the rest there. So, breaking down characters, Lucius by himself or sometimes Flawless Blade, Lord Exultant in one of the troop squads, generally I'd say Infractors, and then the Cacophonous go with the Noise Marines.
Yep.
I like the Cacophonous for a couple reasons.
It gives them sustain?
Gives them sustained, and he gives them a power sword, which sounds lame, but these Noise Marines cannot fight for themselves. In melee, the Sergeant has a power sword, that's it.
And then they all just punch.
Exactly. So the character, he gives them sustain, and they can actually fight off. They don't just get automatically tagged. And then the Land Raider for the stuff. I'm very curious about Land Raiders. I think it's a lot of points, and it might just be as well suited with Rhinos, frankly. This army is fast. You do have access to advance and shoot and charge. So you don't necessarily need the Rhinos. I'm Rhino curious, but I'm not sold, Yusuf, if that helps.
The Rhinos or the Land Raiders?
I'm sorry. I'm Land Raider curious. I'm Rhino confident.
Yeah. I think for me, and this kind of goes back to what we were saying, where you want units.
Yeah.
Rhinos are just units.
Yeah.
They are things that can just do actions and exist in a place, and you don't feel bad
Right.
if it dies or gets targeted, especially if their contents have already gotten out to do the thing.
Right.
So I think I probably prefer Rhino over like 2 extra Rhinos over the Land Raider.
And then you still have...
And then you still get extra points on top of that, because that gives you an additional 80 points. Plus the 50. So now we're at 130. So now that's actually another unit. That's like a real thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's probably what I would look at.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though,
It's solid.
it seems like pretty solid. The only question, I guess, would be, again, it kind of goes back to what we've been saying, but the anti-armor stuff.
Yeah, totally. That's where, again, you know, Flawless Blades, I will admit, they fulfill a role.
Right. But hear me out, though.
Is that enough?
What if your opponent has 2 Rhinos?
I know. I know. Well, they can kill Rhinos, kind of. Because, again, this is what my biggest complaint of the Noise Marines is just the Sonic Blaster should be strength 6. If they're strength 6, you'd at least wound Predators and all the stuff on 5s. Right now it's wounding on 6s.
Yeah, but also on the reverse.
Yeah.
You're wounding all T3 on 2s.
Yeah.
And now that's like an actual
It
problem.
would be such a big upgrade if they were just strength 6.
No, that's a problem. If they were
you think it'd be too good?
Yeah, but it'd be way too
Hence the concern.
Right.
And then, again, possibly by design that they aren't just good into everything.
I think, okay, so if they were battle line and you could take 6 units of them, then strength 5 is like the max.
Yeah.
But because they're only, you can only take 3 units of them, I think it's if they did go to strength 6, it's probably not the end of the world.
Right.
Because there's only 3 squads. They're 6-man squads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shots, but like you'll get over it.
Yeah, that's so true. Let's see. Dave was asking, would the protection of the Dark Prince strat work to save them against the mortal wounds for a failed pledge? Let's pull up that strat. Depends when you trigger it.
What's the strat
So
called?
there's a strat that gives a 6 of feeling pain, goes to 4 up against mortals. Just after a mortal wound or attack is allocated to a model.
So allocate is before saving throw? After saving
So the
throw.
problem is they're talking about the pledges, which is not an attack. So now we need to see how the pledges work.
Oh.
So this is the, if you fail to deliver on your like quota, Slaanesh does D3 mortal wounds to the Warlord.
Probably. It's any phase, and this is at the start of the battle round. Oh, so it's not in a phase yet at the start of the battle round?
Your Warlord model suffers D3 mortal wounds. No, I don't think it works. Because you're not allocating anything. Allocating is like actually, as Brian mentioned, part of attacks. And the coteries, the pledge would have to say allocate D3 mortal wounds.
Right.
Which I don't think they write anywhere. But it just says they suffer D3 mortal wounds. Which it was not the same as allocation technically.
That would be so lame if you got a 4 feeling pain against the one downside of your
Yeah. So true. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Can't you just pledge 0 units, or are they going to FAQ that? You can, yeah, no problem, Dave. You can pledge 0, but like you won't get any points.
Because you get points equal to your pledge.
To suffer them, they have to be allocated, don't they? No, I don't think so.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
It's start of the battle round. We're not in a phase yet, right?
Yeah, and that's when this is?
This is any phase. This happens at the start of the battle round. So we're not actually in a phase.
That's also another valid point.
So you can't use the strat because it has to be used in a phase. Or at least this is how I'm interpreting it.
Right.
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
Don't yell at me, internet. But because this is the start of the battle round and we haven't entered a phase yet,
Right.
you wouldn't be able to use the strat?
Yeah, exactly. And Seraph's song, are not most take X mortal wounds worded similarly?
Probably.
I'm trying to think if that's valid. I guess so, because if you have this strat and I do Doombolt against you, this would traditionally work.
Or like grenades or something too.
Grenades.
Because it's not an attack, you're just
Yeah.
doing mortal wounds.
So let's look. Let's look up grenades, for example. Let's see how they word that. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my argument is still that it's not in a phase when you take the mortal wounds, so therefore you can't use the strat. Again, it probably is worded similar to any other like take mortal wounds things.
It is, yeah. It is the same as grenades. So I guess the allocation isn't the problem. The phases out of timing then from that reading. Yeah, I think Brian's point is probably the main one here. So.
Oh wait, when do you take the mortals though?
You take them.
Because the start is the battle round is when you.
Oh, that's at the end of the battle.
End of the battle round. Again, not in a phase.
Is it? When is the end of battle round?
Because that's when you do like the scoring and stuff, right? So like you have your like the end of the fight phase, and then it goes into the end of the battle round stuff, which is not a phase.
Right. So it's the same. And
because that's when you would score all of like your secondaries and whatever else. If you were doing cleanse or contain or whatever, that's when you score it. It's not before. Because otherwise you could sequence things for like Eldar, for example, and they can get back in the transports. You'd be able to score your points and then still get back in the transport, which you can't do. Because you have to be there to finish the action when you score the points. If that makes sense.
Okay. You can't do that?
You can't do that.
Okay. I can see them being allowed to do that.
You definitely can't. Yeah,
I mean,
unless I'm nerfing myself. Then
I mean, that is classic.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you. Let us know in chat and in the comments what y'all think.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, back to the Yusuf's list. Again, I like the list. I agree. I think we could maybe pull the Land Raider, move some points around. Killing vehicles is a struggle that this army has for sure.
Yeah.
The thing that this detachment does have is access to lethal hits and reroll ones to wound, which is important. So, yeah. According to the core rules, the end of the turn is the end of the fight phase, and there's no events after that, or fight phases after that. Well, we'll have to find out. I'm going to keep us moving, just because we could discuss this the whole day, to be honest.
Yeah. GW with ambiguous rules? What?
Never.
No
they
way.
would never. They would never. Cool. Thank you, Yusuf, for the list. Next up, this one is from Seraphim. Just starting out, when's a good point to add Fulgrim? Oh, great.
Great question.
I like the way you've worded that question. All right, this one is called Naughty Kids. This is...
Oh, this is the...
This is a Rite of War. This is a Horus Heresy detachment, basically. The Maruskara, so this is the Emperor's Children Rite of War, which I like a lot. Basically, you're going to get +1 to move for your whole army until basically you do your killing blow where the things come in. So you're faster until it's time to like do the strike. Captain Saul Tarvitz is a loyalist list. We got a Centurion. It's not what you think. Champion with a Warhawk jump pack, Palatine Blade, Aquila squad.
A Warhawk jump pack? That sounds real cool.
It's real cool. These guys are real stylish. Palatine Blades are also ridiculous. They're like amazing fighters with artifice. They all have 2-up saves and 2 wounds, which is ridiculous. Phoenix Terminators, love it. Rylanor the Unyielding. Assault Squad with 3, Despoiler Squad with 3, and Rhino. This is 1245 points. This is a tiny list. What is this?
I think the answer to the question of when do you add Fulgrim is
right now.
At the start.
At the start. Yeah,
like, first unit in the list, Fulgrim.
Yeah. He's pretty bad in like the demon version, especially. He's pretty bad in Horus Heresy.
That's fine.
But don't let the haters keep you down.
Yeah, you don't play Heresy because you're trying to win.
Exactly.
You play Heresy as like a historical game.
Yeah, I don't see a squad full of las cannons here. That means you're actually playing for the right reasons.
Yep.
So there we go. I hope that's helpful.
I'm glad you knew anything about this because I know exactly 0 things.
I actually like done the reading because that's like the army that I'm working on, and I had the first model painted. It's Fulgrim.
You cheated.
I did cheat.
I
was forced.
For 40K.
My hands were forced, but I painted them in my Heresy scheme.
That's true. That's true.
This next one is from Vino. How many Tantalists will we see here? All right, Vino. Let's see. This is... it's another dang Heresy list. You kids. All right, we're going to cover my face for a second. Okay, so this is... exemplary units, legacy units on. Hey, no Rite of War. It's just like default.
3,000 points? That's crazy.
3,000 is like a proper force.
That's many points.
Yeah. So we got Idol. Oh, dude, Eidolon is also cracked. He's crazy. Like, him with some Palatine Blades, they'll literally win you entire games. Apothecarians, good. You got your Palatine Blades. See, 420 points in this
Jesus.
unit. A big 10 man. This is how you do it.
This is how you win, apparently.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I actually ran this against Brian Pullen and his White Scars. It did not work. Because they're amazing until your opponent has a bunch of las cannons. Especially when they're on jet bikes. They move really fast. Then he's got 10-man Legionary, Tax Squad, another one. Both have Rhinos. Terminator Indominus Squad. Oh, wow. This is just like big thickums here. So big giant unit of Terminators. Lane Raider Spartan. Of course, you have to. You're playing Heresy. Sun Killer Squad. Oh, look, this is one of those try-hard lists. The las cannons.
I mean, you mentioned about Eidolon and the Palatine.
Yeah.
And it was there. So this makes sense to see it further down the list.
This feels prescient. I did not look at this list. Yeah, las cannons are just real dumb in this game. There's reactions. If you like shoot these guys, for example, they're gonna shoot you back.
Oh, I love that.
And I think it's basically at full BS. Might be at -1. But again, these are AP2, which means
they're just going through everything.
There's no save.
Yeah.
Unless you have an invuln, you're just dead. So they're super long range, so they're hard to reach. Things like that. They're amazing. So Vino, he's getting sweaty here. And then of course, Fulgrim. This is probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Except it's the transfigured Fulgrim.
Yeah.
So it's not as cool.
You want foot Fulgrim?
Well, he's probably better, you said, right?
Fulgrim with legs?
You said the demon Fulgrim is actually bad. So if this was really a sweaty tryhard list,
yeah.
probably wouldn't have Fulgrim.
This balances out the whole rest of the list. No, not quite. Not quite. not quite. Thank you for the Heresy list, guys. We appreciate that. All right, let's check in on chat. We've been talking a lot of things about things we don't know enough about.
Yeah.
But that's what we always do. Nice list, bud. Thanks, Circle Matt. Everybody has a 5 to 10 man Leia squad. It's kind of running gag now. Yeah, they're just so good. Question, do ally in demons or knights with Emperor's Children? Great question, Donald. So there's a detachment where you can have demons in it. It's certain Slaanesh units. I like it a lot. I think it adds a lot of value. As far as allying in other stuff, I believe as written it works. I think we're gonna need some sort of FAQ to clarify, like, is this really what they want? Like, can you just ally in? I think the wording right now is like, if your warlord is Lucius, you can take Slaanesh. I don't know if it's restricted to the CSM book or detachments. But it's a little wonky. So in my mind, I think we're going to need some clarification on like what are we supposed to be allowed to do.
Right.
Knights for sure. The way that's written is just if you're a Chaos Army, you can take up to 500 points or whatever it is of Knights. That we've confirmed that all works, and I don't really expect that to change. So confident about Knights. Allying Demons, I'm a little uncertain. I could see them just ruling that out, being like, no, they're in the book in this detachment. So we'll see. Yeah. I think demon allies are currently going away. Yeah, exactly. I think that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
So
with the introduction of them inside of the codexes, I think it's probably safe to say that the allies that we potentially will be able to take are going to be significantly less, if any at all, just because they're already inside the books. So
we're not counting on taking them, basically.
Right. Exactly.
If we get it, that's great, but that's not part of the plan. All right, let's take a look. So next up, we've got the Jupiter. This one's called Hypothetical Carnival. Hypothetical Carnival.
Hypothetical Carnival. The best kind of carnival.
It's the best kind of carnival. So I assume this is a Carnival Ecstasy, which is the Demon's Detachment.
We just talked about this.
We've had such
Perfect
good
timing.
flow today. It's been great. So thank you, Jupiter, as always. Rhino, 6 Noise Marines. A Captain Cacophonist. These aren't orcs, okay? Oh wait, are you gonna Emperor's Children orc conversions? Let's go. Noise Marines, 6 Noise Marines and a Rhino, 10 Tormentors and a Lord. Okay, we're just talking about this. Flying Prince, Spawn, Maulerfiend, Demonettes, Keeper of Secrets, Lucy.
Plus room for buffs.
Lucy. Oh, Lucius. Yeah, okay.
Of all the things to not understand, Lucy is the one you didn't get?
Lucy, this one's spelled with a Y, it's spelled with an I.
You got Captain Kaka, but you didn't get Lucy?
Captain Kaka made sense to me. As an orc, I just like convert everything. Plus room for buffs. Cool. So, initial thoughts. I really like this detachment. The way this works is demon units gain sustained if they're within 6 inches of a Emperor's Children unit, including Chaos Spawn. Vice versa. If the unit already has sustained, they go to sustain on 5s. Very saucy.
Ugh.
As we mentioned earlier, Lord Cacophonists give sustained. So these Noise Marines, for example, will have sustained on 5s.
Yeah.
And then you're really starting to spice them up. And it gets rid of some of the consistency problems they have from not having rerolls. As we mentioned, when you have sustained or sustained on 5s or whatever, that's basically like a +1 to hit, right? It's like, okay, well, for every 1 you roll, you're likely to roll a 6, which will then be a hit. So you can think of it in the same sense. Yeah. So it's basically like a +2 to hit that actually works.
Yeah.
I like this. Again, somewhat skeptical of Big squad. Especially this is the sticky squad. They can infiltrate in the middle, but like, I think a 5-man would do just as well.
Yeah.
You don't.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you're not as in need of trash in this list as much as you normally are, because you have access to the demons. Like I would almost, you could split this off into 5 more Tormentors, or just do another squad of Demonettes, which are 5 points more.
Yeah. And this is not the read-to-play.
It's not the
detachment, right? Yeah. So I think if you're trying to like string them in the middle to sticky 2 objectives in No Man's Land, while I can work in some games, oftentimes you'll probably end up going second in some of those games, and you'll just lose the unit for free. Especially if you're trying to be aggressive and make those aggressive plays in hopes that you go first. I don't know that it's necessarily worth it. And having them behind a building on your half of the table, not necessarily in a deployment zone, but on your like safe expansion objective, 5 will do the same thing as 10. So it seems like you're just wasting that other half of the unit.
Yep. I think you can save some stuff there. Flying Prince is good as always, but I also think the foot one's interesting here because he's going to give those demons +1 AP.
Yep.
It's Slanesh buff, not just Emperor's Children. Maulerfiends are very interesting. As I mentioned, not a lot of people talking about them. However, they do, again, help address the problem that we have, which is killing big things.
Yep, like a big fists.
They just get in there and they just rip open the tanks and they get into the yummy things inside. +1 AP again doesn't hurt. Sustained doesn't hurt. So I'm actually intrigued with Maulerfiends.
I think my only concern with them is their delivery mechanism. Because they're not crazy durable.
No.
No. Like Forge Fiends, they die fairly easily. Maulerfiends are basically the same thing. Or at least the same chassis. So how do you deliver them before they die? Now, this also could just be like the whole distraction card effects thing, where people are going to see it and just try to gun it down, because you have no real other targets for the anti-tank weapons on your opponents to go to.
Yeah.
Like, they'll shoot rhinos if they can see rhinos, but if you give them a target for the anti-tank, they're going to obviously put their anti-tank guns there.
Yeah, exactly.
So it could help maneuver the rest of your army potentially, but maybe not because it's not the same guns. They're going to shoot the Mauler Fiends as shooting the other stuff. I don't know. The delivery mechanism is my biggest concern, though.
I definitely agree. Can you check the movement on them? Because generally everything has +1 movement in this book. I don't know if that applies to the Mauler Fiends or not. Obviously, an inch is going to make a huge difference, but I'm just curious.
Mauler Fiends move 10.
10. Okay, so I think it's the same as normal.
And there's advanced intelligence detachment or no?
Oh, this army.
The whole army.
Yeah, as long as you're not.
I'm less concerned about the delivery mechanism.
It helps a lot. It
Less
definitely helps a
concerned.
lot. But you know, there is no way to like move through terrain,
Right.
which is
A big
usually
deal.
what's great here.
Yep.
So they're gonna have to like hide and then move around, or like on GW terrain, you can generally sitting behind one of the middle tiles that doesn't have anything,
Yep.
and then go through it. So like, there are ways of doing it, but it's 100% a weakness. You're right. And then the Keeper of Secrets. I actually have the same concerns for the Keeper of Secrets. I really want to test them out, Jupiter. I really want to try them because they're beautiful, but they lost their Feel and Pain, so I'm really scared. I'm really scared of them.
Yeah.
Having said that, they also give +1 AP in a bubble. So you can get +2 AP. So you can have AP3 Demonettes.
Gross. With dev wounds.
With dev wounds and sustained.
Interesting.
It's very spicy. And in my mind, actually, that furthers my claim that I think drop 5 of these and get 5 more Demonettes.
More demonettes. Yeah.
Because they're just awesome.
And they're a trash unit. So they're not really any kind of points investment.
They're like 90 points. So it's awesome. Very cool list. What's up, James? How you doing? James, why are you a gray name? What is this? What is this? Let's get this. What the heck? Let's get some gifted memberships in here. Get James a membership. Too many people looking at demon allies through the lens of Legion of Excess. Taking demons with the Emperor's Children is a whole different animal. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And again, I think there's a lot of uncertainty as to like, will they FAQ it? How are they going to change it? But it is definitely, it is a very different beast. Like Emperor's Children demons in here and demons as allies or as their own detachment, very, very different. And I think the way that you apply them is different. 100% agree. But again, we'll have to wait and see. All right. I hate war dogs. I only put in big knights like rampagers. That's right. Brian's styling. I'm a fan. I played brigands on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. They're good, don't get me wrong. But I rolled horribly with them, and I also put them into all the wrong targets. So they did nothing for me.
Well, that sounds like an Adrian problem.
It is.
And also a Bridger problem.
They're so good when Bridger plays them. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I'll try this. It's cool. And they just totally flubbed. Cool. So once again, thank you, Jupiter. Next up, this list is from March. Coteries first draft. Lone Op Demon Prince to keep a Warlord around a few turns. Not sure about going into vehicle heavy. People really like Coteries. Very interesting. I get so nervous. Look, we're gonna play today, but I get nervous. Okay. This list is a little wider. Coterie first draft. So again, this is doing pledges, getting buffs. Demon Prince Warlord, Pledge of Eternal Servitude, which was the
this was not the 6th. This was
the other one.
The other one, which I definitely remember.
Not the.
Servitude.
Servitude.
Yeah. This is Stand Back Up. D6 wins.
Oh, that's good. Also, because it's your Warlord, and you want your Warlord to be alive.
Yep.
Lucius, Demon Prince with wings. Cool. So we've got one on foot, one with wings. Lucius, Lord Exultant, Pledge of Dark Glory, which
+1 FC and leadership.
Oh yes, I like that. I'm running that today, and I'm putting it in my Noise Marines so that I can pretend they're troops. It's great. I think it goes with 5 Infractors, takes them up to OC3. I love that. Another Lord Exultant with 5 Infractors. Another unit of 5 Infractors. Lord Cacophonous, double pistol, interesting. Personally, I like the Power Sword just because it gives you some capability to fight off trash. If someone throws 5 Acolytes into you, you don't want to just be locked up. Noise Marines, Rhino, Cacophonous, Noise Marines, Rhino, Noise Marines, Rhino, Tormentus. This is a pure list, and it is just very efficient.
Yeah. The Noise Marines, do they count as more than one model in the Rhinos?
I don't think
Probably
so.
not, right?
I don't think
because
so.
otherwise it wouldn't fit with the character.
Correct. Yeah, no, actually you're right. You're totally right. They don't.
But 7's such an awkward number.
It's so awkward.
7 is, well, you can fit, what, 12 in a Rhino? Or 11?
Yeah.
12.
So you can put 5 troops.
5 just regular dudes, which probably the Torment, maybe not, I don't know.
No, you're doing Fractors.
Fractors, yeah.
The only problem is you can't do 2 squads with Lords, Right.
Right, but like the Noise Marines are already taking up 7, or I guess the last one is only 6 slots. So the Lord Exultant with the Infractors don't fit inside of the Noise Marine Rhinos.
They can go in. So you have this Rhino.
There's one Rhino that one of the units could go into, but the other 2 have 7 models already.
Exactly.
So you obviously can't fit 6
I would
extra.
put this into one of these.
Right.
This into this, and then another one we'll have to just like walk on or something.
Yeah.
Which, not my favorite, but they already have 3 Rhinos. As good as Rhinos are, I don't know if you can take another one.
No, 4 is too many.
I think you max out. Yeah.
If you could get back inside them in any way, I think then you could start looking at more.
There's a detachment for that, which I think we'll see a list on in a bit. I like this a lot. We'll notice this course does not have Fulgrim, and it asks the question, what could I do if I don't have to take Fulgrim? Turns out you get a lot of stuff.
You get a lot of stuff.
It's really nice. I love the double Demon Princes. I think they're just all stars in this book. So
yeah. I guess the question would be, are 2 Demon Princes better than Fulgrim?
Yes and no.
Because so one here is on foot, one has wings. So you get the impact hits with the wings, you get fight on death as well, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one is buffing the army to give you the extra AP, although you don't have a lot of melee. Really.
Yeah, you got melee.
I mean, you have like Lucius, and then the prince itself.
And then the Exultants and the Infractors.
Oh, the characters, yeah.
Is a lot.
I was looking at the Infractors, not the actual characters inside. Like Infractors, they have melee, but they're not like...
No, yeah. They're going to give him the rerolls, and he's going to have, 5 2 damage attacks.
Yeah.
Which when I say out loud is not that much. But,
but they can do best day ever, right?
Their best day ever is actually great, because then you ratchet up the AP and everything.
Right.
So, I like it. I think you might have a vehicle cracking problem, but, who doesn't? So...
Space Marines.
Well, no, who doesn't in this army? Everyone else, yeah. So I like those a lot. We're running something similar-ish.
What does the double pistol get you over the sword? It's just additional shots, I assume?
Basically, the pistols are a 12-inch version of the Sonic Blasters.
Okay.
So you get 3 more shots, which is good. But I think the responsible thing is to take Power Sword.
I think if it gave you like twin linked or something.
Yeah.
In addition to like maybe +1 shot and twin linked or something, that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, twin linked.
But if it just doubles the amount of shots, yeah.
Let's double check it doesn't give you twin linked, because that would intrigue me.
Lord Cacophonous.
But I think it's just another literal pistol. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another pistol. Yeah, especially because it has sustain as well when he's leading a unit.
Yeah, that would have been pretty saucy. So I don't think you're crazy for taking it. I just think we got to eat our veggies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So. James, ready for CTC? Oh, I am so ready. Going down, James.
Yeah. I won't be there. We'll miss you. I'm gonna have FOMO for sure.
You're gonna be responsible?
I have to be.
You're gonna.
I gotta finish painting my Golden Demon, and I know if I go to CTC, there's no way that I'm gonna get anything accomplished. And there's just so much other stuff I have to get done. So
the whole weekend.
Yeah, it's just too much.
I'm very excited. I got an all-star team. What can I say?
Yeah, look. I could have been on an all-star team.
You could have. You could have been on. You had multiple options. Sure.
There's actually 3 teams I could have been on.
I know. Guy. Somebody's got to run the stream though. So.
Yeah. One of us has to work, Adrian. Come on.
Yeah. Dude, there's been so much travel. Depticon coming up soon.
Yeah, especially with the Depticon right afterwards. There's no way.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. 3 more shots with reroll 1s. It's spicy as long as you get your pledge. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, again, I don't think the double pistols is bad. It's more eggs in one basket, right? Yeah. Demon Princes have definitely gone up in stock. Yeah, love the Demon Princes. I really like what they've done with this. I think it's cool. I thought EC Rhinos hold 14. Do they hold 14?
No, surely not.
No way.
There's no way they changed the Rhino.
That would be so sick. That would change my life. You passed it. Oh, no, you didn't.
No, that's 12.
It's 12. Yeah. Bummer.
Can't hold Terminators or Flawless Blades.
Right. Doesn't the army have fall back and shoot? Not to mention advance and shoot and charge. So here's the thing, though. It's fall back and shoot, but you cannot shoot the thing that tagged you up.
Right.
And then you can't do actions, and then you can't do your advancing. Like.
And when you fall back and charge, can you fall back and charge, or is it just advance charge?
I don't know. Let me check.
There's a restriction on those things where you can't shoot the thing that you fell back from, and I believe if it is fall back and charge, you also can't charge the thing that you fell back from.
No, that's definitely true. But do you ever get fall back and charge? Is there?
Is it?
Shoot and declare charge in which advance or fell back. Yeah. But you cannot target the thing you fell back from.
Right.
So
For shooting or for charging.
And as we mentioned, you don't have that many units in this army. You can't really afford to just get tagged up by something, you know? So we'll see. Land Raider went up to 14, holds Lucius, Flog with Blades. Okay, Land Raider is up more, maybe. Interesting. So, yeah. Next up, let's take a look at this list from the Falcon Rider Chunky Bladesman list. That's their only notes. I'm into it. So this is Peerless Bladesman, as you may be able to guess.
Oh, it's quite small.
It's chunky.
It's very chunky.
Lucius, Demon Prince on foot, 2 Lord Exultant. One has a Distortion, which I love, +1 attack, +1 damage. 2x5 Infractors, 2x6 Noise Marines, 2 Rhinos, 2x2 Spawn, 3 Mauler Fiends. So, again, for 10 more points than Fulgrim, you can get 3 Mauler Fiends. First portion. And then 2 War Dog Brigands help crack those vehicles.
They're only 130 points.
Yeah.
The Mauler Fiends, that's crazy.
This is a very interesting list. So, Peerless Bladesman, you're getting sustained or lethal on the charge. And it's just big, chunky things. It's 5 beefy bodies. And then your normal good stuff, right? You're getting a couple Lords with the rerolls, Lucius, Demon Prince. Again, the Foot Demon Prince, I think, is the right call here because you're giving extra AP to all this melee that you got going on. Does not convert to the War Dog Brigands, but
it's fine.
It's still fine.
Yeah.
I mean, look, even the Chaos Spawn going to AP2 is pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
So, I like this list. Does it have enough chaff?
I don't think so.
It's a little short.
But I think this is not the same kind of list that the other ones that we've seen are. Like, not the same playstyle, right? This is, to me, a very aggressive kind of mentality where it's, I'm going to burn bright, but I'm going to burn fast, so we need to get this game done in 3 turns.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, at least, how I am picturing how this plays.
Yeah.
Because, again, there's no chaff. You're not scoring any secondaries, really. You're going to sit on points with the Brigands while you can, but they're going to be up in your opponent's face as quickly as possible. Same thing with the Mauler Fiends. Like, you're not actually scoring points. You're just trying to do enough damage where your opponent can't score either, and then just passively score whatever you can score. Right. With, like, Rhinos and such.
Funny enough, like, if you had the points, maybe. I know I generally like the Infractors more than the Tormentors, but a list like this that wants to just push all your chips in the middle really does benefit from sticky objective holding.
Right.
So like a unit or 2 of those would be great. I don't know if you can drop a war dog and fit 2 squads if you have any extra points or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I would consider.
Not having to worry about leaving stuff on objectives would be a very big boon for this particular list.
Yeah. That's probably the only note I'd make, because Brian is 100% right. Or even maybe, again, if you have 5 more points, convert one of the spawn units into a sticky objective holder.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Very cool list, though. Next up, this is Pupcast. This is Rapid Evisceration. They say it's a fast and speed list meant for scoring objectives. Unsure if the Demon Prince on foot is worth it. Well, let me tell you, we're big fans of the Demon Prince on foot. The Foot Prince. The Prince of Feats. So, Rapid Evisceration. We haven't actually talked about this one yet. This detachment... Whoa. All right, hold on. I'll hide my face in a moment. Rapid Evisceration. Reroll hits of 1, wounds of 1 on a turn which you get out of transport.
Okay.
Great buff. Biggest downside, obviously, is if you lose your transports, you lose all your rolls.
Yeah,
and let me give you a spoiler alert. All of the stratagems, I believe,
are based off transports.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unlike
Renegade Raiders.
I'm always thinking of Renegade Raiders, which is the transport attachment, but it also says you get assault everywhere and you get +1 AP on objectives.
Yeah. So it's not actually the transport detachment; it's just the guns detachment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It's just an all-around attachment, to be honest. Yeah. Because you get +1 AP in melee too.
Yeah.
God, I love that detachment.
It's the worst. I hate it.
It's so good. So, anyways, that's my concerns. When you're building a list, you want to make sure you have redundancies built into that. Let's dive on in. We'll talk about strats and enhancements when we look at the list. Shoom. All right. Demon Prince on foot, Heretic Adept Warlord, Lucius, not joining the Flawless Blades, but riding in land or whatever with them. Again, I think that's the correct move, is you don't join him most of the time. 6 Flawless Blades, Land Raider. Then you have Lord Exultant with 10 Infractors. Again, okay. We'll talk about that. Obsessionist. This is the champion with Plasma Pistol and Power Sword. I think that's the correct loadout. The Icons of Excess are cool. This is the Emperor's Children icon. What it does is basically, in the end of a phase, if you've killed a unit with this unit, you take a leadership test. If you pass, you get a CP. That's a great ability.
It's pretty good.
And then Lord Exultant, another one with Sublime Prescience, 5 Tormentors on foot, And then squad leader. This is the again, I think correct loadout. You take 1 plasma, 1 melta. You take the icon. Lord Cacophonist, Spearhead Striker with 6 Noise Marines and Rhino. Lord Cacophonist, 6 Noise Marines and Rhino. Let's bust out the book and talk about these enhancements because I don't know the names by heart.
Can we, before we do that, can we just... Yeah. There's 5 units in this army?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I mean like 5 packages.
6, 7, 8.
There's like 5 packages, right? You have the Land Raider, you have the Lord Exultant with the Infractors, you have a Lord Exultant with the Tormentors, you have the Cacophonist with Noise Marines, and a Cacophonist with Noise Marines. You have 5 packages of units.
But you have Lucius and Flawless Blades. The Land Raider is delivering 2 packages.
Okay, sure. So you have 7.
Yeah.
6, because it's +1, right?
+1?
It's +1, right? I was counting this as 1, but it's actually 2, so you have 6.
This is 3, because Lucius is not joining them.
Yeah. I was counting all of this as 1. I'm not counting like the transports as their own thing.
Yeah. Why? But they're good. It's good.
They're fine, but they're not redeemers. They're not redeemers. They're like...
No, it's not redeemer.
Anyways, I'm just saying that it seems like you don't have a lot of board presence.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
There's no trash here.
Yes.
There's literally nothing.
There's no fat. You have nothing but high protein.
It's very lean. There's nothing to trim. Sometimes you need a little fat.
Yeah.
Going into the
fat gives
winter.
it flavor.
Yeah.
Everybody knows fat gives flavor.
That's right. We're cooking. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not the animal.
No.
Okay.
What is this? What am I looking at?
The rapid evisceration.
Cool.
So let's take a look. First, we have Lord Exultant with Sublime Prescience.
Sublime Prescience. So once per turn in your movement phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, select 1 transport that is in strategic reserve. Until the end of the phase, for the purposes of setting up that transport, treat the current battle round number as being 1 higher than it actually is.
Okay, cool.
So you could come in turn 1 if you wanted to with the transport.
And then arrive in your opponent's deployment zone turn 2.
Yep.
That's cool. I like it. And that is on the... Oh, it just has to be on someone and it affects one of the transports. So cool. Yep. Then we have... The Cacophonist has Spearhead Striker.
Okay. Each time the bearer disembarks from transport, until the end of the turn, you can reroll charge rolls made for the bearer's unit, and enemy units cannot use the Overwatch stratagem.
That's great. I like that.
The first half, I don't care about. The second half, pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like there was another one I'm missing. Spearhead Striker, Sublime Prescience.
Sublime Prescience.
No, that's it. Okay, cool. So I like the enhancements. I'm so torn because I love everything in this. I just wish, you had some trash.
Just more things.
The thing with the this is why Land Raiders have a place in this army, because the Flawless Blades do take up 2 slots. So if you want to deliver a big squad, they need a Land Raider.
Yeah.
And this is the detachment for it.
Right.
So this is when you take a Land Raider. I'm entirely on board for this. Oh, Heretic Adept, top line.
Heretic Adept. Oh, and there's a Demon Prince. Wait a minute. I missed the whole Demon Prince on foot.
Yeah.
You lied to me.
8 packages, Brian.
You lied to me.
8 packages. There's so much room for activities.
Is he infantry?
No, he's not.
So then he cannot have this.
Oh, all right.
But the enhancement, once per battle round, when a saving throw is failed for a friendly Emperor's Children vehicle model within 6, you can change the damage characteristic of that attack to 0. But has to be on infantry.
Yeah, so you could put this on someone else, but they're...
All of these are infantry only, so Demon Princes actually can't take any enhancements in this detachment.
Because they want you to be inside of a transport.
Right.
Very interesting. Yeah, correct. Flawless Blades can only go in Land Raiders. What I hear is this list needs carbs and veggies. Absolutely. 100% agree. So, honestly, it's just need a little bit more trash. Let's talk about the 10-man infractors in this list. Am I still covered up?
Probably. No.
Because we trimmed the fat.
Yeah. So you got to do it sometimes.
Exactly. I think the 10 infractors can absolutely work in this detachment because you have these big strats. You come out, you do big swings. Again, this is the time to do it. But looking at the list holistically, what you need more is you need some fat. You need little squads to trade, whether it's splitting up those 10 infractors into another 5 or buying some chaos spawn. You need just a couple little trades. You do have rhinos, which, as Brian mentioned, is a unit. You'll be able to trade them later on, but like imagine turn 1. Turn 1, you have cleanse, you have secure, you have whatever locus. You need something that you can put out that's not going to be a rhino and popping things out. Turn 2 onwards, you can start using your rhinos for action monkeys, but you just need 1 or 2 things to be able to trade in the early game.
Yep.
And also, as we mentioned, you need your transports to be able to do your detachment roll. So you actually you have to be a little bit precious with them. This detachment does have a way to get back inside of a rhino, so you can start recycling them. So just 1 or 2 squads, you know.
Yeah. Also important to note that there's only 2 actual rhinos in this list.
Yeah.
And then 1 land raider. So you only have the 3 transports, and you have the big 10 manufacturer. Again, they have the infiltrate, so you don't actually necessarily want them in a rhino. But you're really reliant on getting out one of these noise marine squads.
Yeah.
To vacate space in these rhinos to then get the rules on the rest of the stuff once they have to get in, and then the next turn get out. So you're wasting actually a lot of time to set up this combo or to set up the rerolls for the stuff.
You're totally right.
So it's not actually all that efficient. Unless they have a dedicated rhino for themselves, I don't think a 10-man. But again, you don't necessarily want the infractors inside of a rhino.
No.
I think that's kind of the issue.
I think you cut this whole thing.
Yeah.
For a rhino, maybe you keep 5 guys. You need more transports. I like all the rest of this stuff. The Demon Prince, despite not going in a transport, is good enough. He's worth...
Very shapey.
Oh, were you asking about the Demon Prince? Or is that a different... this makes more sense now. Yeah. Okay. At the beginning of the list, for context, they said, I'm unsure if the Demon Prince on foot is worth it. It's a valid point because he is a little bit at odds with the list.
Right.
So I would either cut this or part of this to get another rhino/trash. And actually, I'm going to retract my previous statement. I think the Demon Prince is cuttable.
Yep. I agree. Especially because he can't take the enhancements, which is what you had him set up here to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So knowing that, I don't think it's actually worth it, especially because it's not going to, again, play how you had intended it to.
Yeah.
When you first built the list.
Exactly. Cool. I feel like hopefully that's some good feedback there. We're making some adjustments. Thank you for the list. First rapid evisceration we've seen. I want to thank you, Ryan G, for the $2 super chat. Very much appreciated. Rhino's angles are too obtuse for flawless blades. Usually some kind of nerd making math jokes up in here.
Like, I would take the Rhino's obtuse angles from my Eldar in a heartbeat. Wave serpents are awful.
They're oblong.
They are awful to play with.
They're so
This
awful.
shape makes no sense.
Especially with the little blades on the sides. It's a nightmare.
Right? I would take a nice little box any day.
I know, honestly. So true. Thank you, Ryan. Really appreciate the love and support. Yeah, if anyone wants to super chat or gift memberships, it's a great way to support the channel and let us continue to do these things. Don't forget, if you are a member, we do these every single Thursday. Sometimes we'll do list reviews. Sometimes we'll talk about terrain, deep dives into strategy, all types of things. And it's always about playing the game better and things like that. That's the focus of our Thursday noon show. So that's that. With that, let's move right along. Can't stick around for too much longer because we have a show later on today, but we have a few more lists. I think, if you have not sent in your list now, we're going to have to cut you off because we got a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should probably take us through the rest of the show. So this one is from Rec Law, and it's called 3 Princes Walking Their Dogs, Carrying Their Boom Boxes. I love it.
I don't need to see the list. I'm sold.
Sold, 100%. This is Coteries of the Conceited. Again, very populated attachment. All right. 2,000 points on the nose, I think. Math is hard. Sure. Also, you're probably trying to make lists from the content creator releases, which is like weird because we can't show documents, but we can tell you about points. Yeah. So let's take a look. 3 Demon Princes, as promised. Pledge of Eternal Servitude, Warlord, Pledge of Unholy Fortune, and then just a plain Jane. Lord Exultant with Pledge of Mortal Pain. We haven't seen that one. Can we see what that one does? 5 Tormentors, 5 Infractors, 3 units of Noise Marines, 3 Mauler Fiends again, 3 Rhinos, and a dedicated 3 Rhinos.
3 Rhinos and a dedicated transport.
Interesting. So obviously the Noise Marines are going into the Rhinos. You could put Tormentors as well with a Lord Exultant and then a 10-man Infiltrators. What is this Mortal Pain here?
So this one, at the start of your shooting phase, select 1 enemy unit within 12 inches of and visible to the bearer, not the bearer's unit. Yeah. That unit must take a leadership test, subtracting 2 from the result if it is battle shocked. If failed, the enemy unit suffers 3 mortal wounds.
This is start of your shooting phase?
Yeah, in your shooting phase you do it.
Wait, in your shooting phase?
At the start of your shooting phase.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
Because Noise Marines, you haven't played against them yet, so...
Have not.
They
force battle shocks.
They make you -1 battle shock.
Oh, okay.
And then the Cacophonous forces a battle shock if they do like grenades, and then if you take mortals, you take a battle shock. So I would like this so much more if you could do
If you
this
could just do
later
it
on.
in the shooting phase.
Yeah, like let's soften them up at least.
Yeah.
But
or
again,
like at the end of the shooting phase or something.
at the end would be fantastic.
Yeah, because that also helps to finish off the units that you couldn't potentially kill.
Exactly. And this is a leadership test, correct? Or does it say battle shock?
It's a leadership test.
Yeah, so it means if they fail,
And then -2 if you are battle shocked.
It's all backwards.
Yeah.
They wrote this rule backwards. Because if they fail it, they're not going to be battle shocked.
They just
are
fail
-2.
leadership and they take damage.
Yeah, it's very wacky. Okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of that one. But the rest of this is actually really interesting because it's got a little bit of everything. You've got your anti-tank Mauler Fiends. You got your whole noise bring package.
Those are the dogs.
These are the dogs. They walk in the. Oh my god! And these are the. Oh my god, guys! I actually love this list. It's not just because of the meme, but you actually do have a little bit of everything, except for again maybe lacking a little bit of trash.
A lot of 10-man infractors.
What is this?
Everybody is on this infractor hype. I think either you're wrong.
10 is too many.
Or the world is.
It's too
above
many.
us.
It's too many. Too much. Split this into a smaller squad. You don't have to redeploy. I'm gonna die on this hill for at least.
Everybody
the next
gets
game.
one hill to die on.
Yeah.
And this is yours.
This is it. I'm spending it.
But you can get more hills if you want.
This is at least the infractors. Actually, this is the melee squad. So they're going with the Lord Exultant. I understand this more. It's a big brick that goes in and fights. I would probably split it off because you are still lacking. Like trash is the only thing this list is missing. So I would do that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I love this list.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
It's pretty sweet.
I want to play this. I'm changing my list for today.
That's fine.
That's it.
I would not know any better.
That's true, actually. Cool. This next one is from Wildcard. Let me
We gotta pull it up.
load it on up. Chink. You all seeing this?
Takes a rampager for a
I'm
walk.
like, wait, this is the same list. Let's get some context. Wildcard says Lucius takes a rampager for a walk. Any detachment except the demons or the transport ones should be fine. Flexible list. Okay, so maybe we can look at the list, talk about what would be a good detachment to for it to find home. Call home. And we're just checking on the chat. Beautiful. 10 comes with 2 Meltas and 2 Plasmas. Wrong squad. Yeah, that you are correct in that you're wrong, but that is a good point about the big squads of the shooty boys. I still think it's not worth unless you're infiltrating. Okay, Brian is wild card, perfect. So 3 Noise Marine squads, Lucius, 2 Infractors, 2 Tormentors. Again, Art of War pretty hot on this right now, and I generally, I listen to what they say. Lord Exultant, 3 Cacophonists, Demon Prince with Wings, Knight's Rampager, 35 points for whatever enhancements you want. Okay. So again, the Cacophonists go in the Noise Marines, so they're all getting sustained. They're either getting an extra pistol or getting some melee. The Lords are going into one of these, generally I would say infractors, but it's not crazy to have one infiltrate if you want to have some threat mid-board. And the Demon Princes move fast, belly flop, -1 damage. And the Rampager is just like the giant distraction card effects, I guess. It will crack tanks, but at what cost?
Yeah.
But we're not here to judge the Rampager, I think. I think we're just supposed to accept this as it is and talk about what would be the best attachment for it.
I think,
right?
Yeah. Probably the one where you charge, you get sustain or lethal. That's probably what I'm leaning toward, because you have a lot of smaller units.
Yeah.
Right. You have like the Demon Prince, which not a small unit because they can hit pretty hard, but you kind of want to push the efficiency of these smaller squads.
Yeah.
And if you can have sustain or lethal, it helps you kind of flex into the different types of things that you're going to be going into. Now that said, there is a lot of shooting also, because you have like the Noise Marines with the Cacophonists. Actually, maybe that's actually the only shooting.
I mean, it's 3 shooty squads, 4 melee squads.
Yeah, it's pretty split.
It's pretty split, and the Rampager's not going to benefit either way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So he
for him.
doesn't factor in. Blades is cool because of the buffs. I really like their enhancements. Oh, I really like their enhancements. So you can throw a fight first on Demon Prince. You can throw +1 damage on a Demon Prince or a Lord. I like them on Lords better.
Yeah,
because when the rerolls and the best day ever.
Yep.
So they just go nuts with their 3 damage, whatever. So I think that's a pretty good bet, honestly. Coteries, the downside is there's not a clear Warlord that is going to try to stick around.
Right. Because you're going to be using the princes. They will probably die at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Lucius, again, you're going to be using them.
You have to use them.
So, and the Exultants, again, you're going to use all of these characters. Like they're all going to be in the thick of it, fighting.
Did the thick of it.
Did the thick of it.
Other detachments, you don't have demons, you aren't doing transports, I think Mercurial Host people are sleeping on. We're going to play that Saturday. It has the most boring detachment rule, which is reroll advances.
It is very lame.
But they have great strats.
Yeah, which is very sad.
Yeah.
It's good strats, terrible rule.
Like, you got to look at the whole
not
package.
terrible rule, just not a useful rule.
It's not fun. It's not exciting. Yeah. Nobody's like, oh, woo, we get to reroll this, you know. So I can't really evaluate whether or not this should be a Mercurial Host list. But maybe, honestly. I think maybe that, or frankly, Blades. Blades is interesting, honestly.
Blades is interesting.
Yeah. You know, the Noise Marines aren't taking advantage, but I think that's okay.
Also, important to note, we've seen a lot of lists that just don't have Fulgrim in it.
Yeah. Yeah, these people are telling us the truth that we don't want to hear.
Well, I'm fine with it.
There's going to be Fulgrim all week, folks. Buckle up. Deal with it.
I knew immediately. I was like, this is not worth it. You just haven't... You're still huffing the copium, Adrian.
He's close. If he drops in points, he's very tasty.
Yeah.
If he goes to Mortarion, I think he might be too cheap.
I think if he goes to Mortarion, there's a problem with the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. So Brian says, let's hear it from Brian directly.
Not Brian.
Other Brian. Rampager just runs up on one side of the board, then explodes with deadly demise every game, of course. Then Rampager has always gotten in on turn 1 for me. Fulgrim will just take the Rampager spot if he gets buffed. Oh, that's fair, honestly.
You get the Rampager in turn 1? They don't advance and charge innately, do they? No, right?
They might actually. Hold on, let's check Rampager. It's been a while. Well, plus I'm not allowed to play my Knights anymore because Bridger plays them.
Yeah, we got to give Bridger more thinking armies.
Dude.
Me and Lindsay had this conversation. Bridger was present for this conversation, but
I heard chat didn't follow through on the bit though. This was discussion on Mundigmar, and they were like, he needs to play an elf army.
Yep. Because I was like, oh, Bridger would hate playing elves. We were talking about he needs to play things he doesn't normally, like the armies that are different than what he normally plays.
Right.
I was like, oh, we'll make him play something he hates. Elves. You know what they voted for?
Daughters.
Daughters of Cain. Which is it's Bridger.
That's corn elves. Yeah. Same with Edeneth. Yes. That whole army can run in charge.
Yes, I was like, you guys got to give him
Lumineth.
Lumineth's
the call.
Or like Seraphim or something, or Sylvaneth.
Sylvaneth. You could be pretty bullish. You'd have to make. You could build a Bridger and Sylvaneth list. Yeah, it's but just 6 Spite Riders, 6 Scythes.
Yeah, but would he do that though?
Would he do that? No. Oh, of course he would.
Yeah, but like.
Oh, but I'm building. The list.
Right, exactly.
Ah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I like that.
Like I'm playing all facets of trying to.
You're playing 3D chess right now.
Yeah, 4D chess even.
4D. Well, eventually we will have to have someone play the Lumineth. So yeah, they do advance in charge. They advance in charge. They have sustained hits. Once per battle, they advance in charge, which is turn 1 apparently.
Yeah.
I think it's valid. I honestly think if you're going to play a Rampager like that, though, it's actually not crazy to have it just be Fulgrim, because I think Fulgrim is great at playing flanks. I played him like that on Tuesday, and he was great. He went down, dove way deep down a flank, took out a bunch of stuff, grabbed the objective. Bridger tries to respond. I'm not going to spoil what happened after that. It was actually very interesting. You cannot throw him in down the middle, but if you throw him on a flank, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So. Also, it allows him. It gives you that same kind of threat that can now benefit from your army rules and your stratagems. Whereas, like the Rampager, obviously cannot do that.
Exactly. And genuinely, if you can play the flank, the fight first is so strong. Whereas a Rampager, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking like I got my Dark Angels with my Inner Circle. I can eat that in a Rampager. I cannot eat that into Fulgrim because he's going to turn around. He's going to go tick, 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 you know.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully, it'll give you a chance. So. T-Storms is still actually that bad these days. She drops in points a lot. She does get hurt. Frankly, it's not even the modification on the rerolls that makes me sad about her. It's the losing the Feeling Pains.
Feeling Pain, yeah.
There's just not enough layers. So we will try her, but it'll probably be in second wave. Because I'm genuinely excited about that list, which is why I wanted to play it the way that we ran it. Because I think that's the stronger way to run it, if that makes sense. Cool. Thanks, Brian. Hopefully that's helpful. Let us know how your further experiments go. I like the list a lot. I'm going in circles here. Okay, cool. This next one is from D-Gen. Oh, it's not a Tal list. Yep. D-Gen, supposed to do paste bin. I'll make an exception because
we're friends.
We're friends. So I'll make a paste bin for you. Why is this not pasting in?
Did you copy it?
Oh, we're downloading stuff from the internet. Always a good plan. It's a good plan. Job's a good one, boss.
You okay?
Great. I guess stress, you just start saying orc things. All right, here we go. This is from D-Gen. Any context. Emperor's Children list for coterie of... Everyone
Coterie.
loves this detachment. Oh
Coterie,
my
interesting.
god. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Well, you guys are in it for a treat later today. 2,000 points. Demon Prince with wings. Enhancement, 25 points, stand back up on leadership. Yep. Demon Prince with wings.
Flip a dice.
Flip a die. Yep. I think on these Demon Princes, it could be intriguing because they're high value. Lord Exultant, Lord Cacophonant, Lucius as the Warlord. Interesting. Rhino, 5, 5, and 10 Infractors, 5 Tormentors, Noisebrain, Chaos Spawn. Okay. So 2 Rhinos is about the minimum I would run Emperor's Children as. I've done it on a couple games, and it is doable. I kind of play them the same way I played Tank Bustas, where some are in trucks, some are coming in reserves, some are in like response, basically. Safely, we're not getting tagged up. This is a pretty sweet list. The transports are, again, my only concern. It's like the minimum that you can run. Lucius as the Warlord is risky bisky because you want to keep him alive, but you also want to use him.
I think I would probably put it on the Prince that can flip a dice. Just because you're already kind of leaning into the more, not necessarily survivability, but you can use it for the save. Because you could also use it on like the hit or the wound roll.
Yeah.
But I think I would probably put it on that Demon Prince just because it has that extra layer of survivability. So like, oh, you got a lance cannon through. Well, I don't care. It's just a 6 now.
Right. Yep.
It's a little bit more dubious on Lucius, like Adrian was saying, for the reasons he already said. So that's probably what I would do.
Like, you can play him defensively, and he's great at that because he is a lone op, feel no pain, fight first. You're accepting you're not using for all the tools.
Right.
And then I also want to clarify something. You know, we talk about keeping your Warlord alive. You don't lose your buffs when your Warlord dies. You just can't gain any more, really. Once you hit a certain threshold, like I think 5 units, you're getting hit and wound rerolls of 1, and either lethal or sustained. If your Warlord dies at that point, it's not the end of the world. So that's something that we're only going to learn through playing this detachment and knowing like how far are you trying to get and when is it okay to lose your Warlord.
Yep.
So we'll learn that. We'll learn that very soon because right now I think we're being very cautious with it, trying to keep that in mind.
Also another 10-man Infractor squad.
God, what the heck? What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know. 85 points is not a ton. But like...
Yeah, it's nothing, it's not a lot.
Like a 170 point unit with the character is actually a lot of points.
It's just a lot. I don't know. Again, it's the melee version, so that's, I think, at least correct.
It helps. Yeah.
I'm so curious. Explain this. Everyone, because you all are doing this. And maybe I'm wrong, honestly.
I think...
It's very possible.
It is very possible.
Yeah, learning coterie is going to be fascinating. Absolutely agree. Brian says, in coterie, honestly imagine taking Cacophonist out of one of the enemy units and him sitting in the back, screening, farming, pledging points. Him being 60 points makes him very, very cheap, honestly. He's your cheapest unit. So if you wanted a little trash unit, you could just take a Cacophonist. It feels bad, but it's fair, honestly. I wouldn't do it for coteries, I think, because he's pretty easy to kill. But as a general like action monkey,
60-point action monkey is
pretty good. It's cheaper than Spawn.
That's insane.
I think Spawn are better action monkeys, but he is 20 points cheaper. So yeah. People like the extra size with lethals and full hit rerolls in coterie. Yeah, they do have the full hit rerolls. I forgot about that, and that is a reason to take a bigger squad. Okay, I'm interested. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. It's just different. Thank you, Reclaw, for the super chat. Noisebrains were the boom boxes 2x5 man from now. Oh, so that's why you had to have 3 of them. So you have the 3 boom boxes with the 3 guys walking their 3 dogs.
That checks out.
That's fair. I'm into it. Moving right along with these lists, let's take a look at the final. Oh, D-Dan, I think he did also send a paste bin afterwards. Yeah. All right, well, we made fun of you. It's too late.
I don't know about we. Adrian made fun of you.
You're responsible for everything I do. This is Peerless Blades. So again, getting sustained or lethal on the charge in melee. Sustained. Let's take a look at it. Lucius, as always. Lord with the +1 damage. Love it. Demon Prince with Fight First. Love it. Lord Cacophony. 2 Rhinos, 2 Tormentors, 3 Infractors, 3 Noise Marines, 9 Flawless Blades.
3 and 6. Interesting.
Oh, yeah, okay. 3 and 6. Thank you. 2x2 spawn. And we get some context here. Let me expand this so y'all can see it. Awesome. So we say 1 Noise Marine squad in reserves, the Prince in Deep Strike for rapid ingress, plus Heroic Mortal Fight First. Oh, that's
pretty good.
That's nice. Lucius solo or joins 3 Blades depending on matchup. Yep. A Tormentor on home field. Tormentor to sticky expansion objective. I like it. Rhino with Infractor plus Noise plus Cacophonist. Yep. Rhino plus 2x5 Infractor plus Lord. After Scout move 1, get out, and a noisy unit catches up and embark. Ooh, I like that play. That's been one of my struggles right now is the Scout move is awesome, but I also like getting double value with my transports and putting in Noise Marines or whatever. So this way you get a bit of the best of both worlds. Because James, we were talking to James about this at Worlds. Like the Rhino hopping in Chaos is very interesting.
Yeah.
So, not Worlds, LVO. So, this is a nice all-arounder list, frankly.
4 spawn. Spawn only 40 points?
This is... Yes, spawner 40 points. You have to buy them in 2s.
Oh, okay.
So this is
okay.
2x2 spawn.
You
might be able to go big squad of 4. I wouldn't recommend it. That might be what they've done here. And it's not going to be in the app. I don't know what I'm looking for.
Do you want to?
Let's take a look real quick.
I have the book.
I wouldn't recommend it. You have the power.
I have all the power.
They're awkward to kill. They have the reactive move, so you get so much value from just separate squads. Spawn. And because they've specified squad sizes elsewhere, it makes me feel like this might be a four man.
Is it?
You skipped it. They're not in the book.
They just don't exist?
Yeah. No. We'll get there.
Oh, wait, what?
What?
Why would they put... Okay, anyways. 2 chaos spawn. That's it, just 2.
All right, so you're just doing 2x2s. Okay. Good, perfect. What do I think? I like this list. The 3 and the 6 Flawless Blades. I don't know. I just feel like it's a great all-around list, to be honest. You got literally everything. I'm not quite sure how you did it.
There's no Fulgrim.
There's no Fulgrim.
That's how you do it.
You got so much stuff when you don't take Fulgrim. Yeah. I have no notes for this, to be honest. I think it's a great list.
I mean, we've said most of the things already, right? Like the Fight First and Demon Prince is great. The +1 damage to the Lord is amazing. The Flawless Blades, they solve a problem that you have with the rest of the army where you can hit on vehicles that normally you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
The Spawn, Action Monkeys, they're awkward to kill. I think they're a good throwaway piece at the beginning. The Noise Marines, of course, they give you the shooting into like infantry and a little bit like to squish your targets. All the things do all the stuff that we already said.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of taking the best of the stuff.
I think it's a very, it's like distilled down to the core. So I like it a lot. I would love to play this list.
I have to say, of all the lists that we saw, not a single Terminator. Yeah. And that feels tragic.
It's so sad. Have I complained to you about the Terminators yet?
Oh, I've heard it all, Adrian.
Okay, cool.
But we could do it again.
Brian, Terminators and Chaos Space Marines, with their icon, when they Dark Pact, so when they get sustained and lethal already, they get full hit rerolls.
Yes, they do.
You know what the Emperor's Children ones do?
What do they do, Adrian?
Well, they get +1 movement. That's pretty good. But on top of that, they get, if in your shooting phase you shoot all your shots at the same target, you get to reroll your charges.
Isn't that cool?
What? Just give them reroll charges. Why? Like, fine, you're probably shooting everything at the same target. It doesn't really matter, but it just bothers me. It's like not fun, and it's conditional. It's so bad. It's so boring.
Yeah. If it was just pick a unit that you shot at, reroll charges into that thing.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Much better rule.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just lame. I'm weak.
Yeah.
I'm weak, and someone just snuck in a lot of lists, so we're gonna do it. Before we close on out, folks. So this is final chance. No more lists, but if you have any questions, now's the time to ask, because we're gonna take a little half-hour break before we set up for the stream. All right. This lista is from Eastern Hemlock. The idea is to aggressively infiltrate 3 units of Tormentors and reposition them with tactical perfection. Thank you. Okay, Eastern Hemlock, you're allowed to have a 10-man in here. You're allowed. Yeah, there it is.
2 10-mans.
Wait, these are Infractors. No! No!
Are these the, wait.
The Infractors are the melee ones. They don't infiltrate.
So they scout.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's the one time I think you can have a 10-man Tormentor and it would be wise. So Mercurial Host, again, this is the sneaky detachment that I think is just great. Reactive moves, very awesome when you're already doing this infiltrate shenanigans. Another reason to have another big 10-man. Lord Exultant with dexterity.
5x5 tormentors? I just saw that. 5x5.
My brain didn't even brain that, to be honest.
Wow, that's many.
5x5.
That is many much.
Hey, look! Terminators!
Oh, we have Terminators!
Ah, we did it, chat! We solved it! 2x6 Norg's Marines, 2 Brigands. You have so much. How does this all fit in here? No way.
You want? There's no
Fulgrim.
Fulgrim.
This is so much. There's no Demon Princes, I guess, either, and there's no Flawless Blades.
It's very lean.
Oh my god. Okay.
And there's only 2 Rhinos, which is concerning. But if everything's starting in the middle of the table anyways, how desperately do you need those Rhinos?
This is wild, and
there's only 2 Noise Marine squads, so those take up the Rhinos.
Yeah.
With the Cacophonist.
It's true.
So.
Oh man, it's pretty cool. Okay, if I had my druthers, I would make a 10-man of Tormentors for that. Because yes, you can infiltrate both and then redeploy both, but the thing is, you're trying to out-deploy your opponent.
Right.
So if you drop your infiltrator first, and then, I'm not even on screen right now, you drop your infiltrators first, they drop theirs here. The second unit doesn't really have a thing to do, you're certainly not stopping them, and then it doesn't matter. Whereas if you take the 10-man, you go zip, across the whole
line
field.
it 9 inches away from the deployment zone, they can't go anywhere.
And then you move them.
Yeah.
So that's the value there. So I actually will encourage you to try a 10-man of Tormentors here. You could do a 10 and a 5, frankly. I would.
Well, there's 25.
Yeah, it's too many. Them. Just combine some.
Yeah.
And then maybe cut a couple things for like a Rhino or something.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's fun. It takes mega MSU, and look, that's not a bad thing in the game, especially in Pariah Nexus.
Yeah. I'm looking forward.
We did it. We did it, Brian.
Awesome.
This is fun. This was helpful because we kind of get to pick your guys' brains. We're pretending like we're bringing the knowledge, but really we're just trying to learn what y'all think.
I know exactly. I said it before. I know 0 things about the book.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of interesting to see like your kind of first reaction to these, and like as a Warhammer player, what do you think? You know. Mm-hmm. I want to give a special thank you to DGen for the $20 super chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
The list idea was 2 Demon Princes to be fast, tank and hit hard together when needed, and a lot of units for action and trade pieces. Also 10-man unit for the 2 Meltas, 2 Plasmas, and Precision, and rerolls hit and wound. Yeah, I think reroll hit and wound. DGen's detachment was
the one that you put up.
Yeah. Demon Prince, enhancement, get back up. That's lethal blades, right? In the auto 6?
I think that's the basement underneath.
Peerless? These are both him.
Oh.
Can you just check which, my brain is mush. Which one has the stand back up? Was it Peerless Blades or was it Coteries?
That's a great question.
Actually, no, it's Coteries because he's talking about rerolls.
It is Coteries.
Yep. Rerolls.
It is Coteries.
Cool, yeah. So that's why you like the big squads. Yeah, again, it's fair. Probably. Look, we will have to test it out. That's all I can say. But thank you so much for the generous super chat. And thank you, Stephen March, for gifting 5 Tabletop Titans memberships.
Thank you.
Making these streams happen. And remember, all 5 of you, check out the other tactics sessions we do at the same time, same place, every Thursday. Plus behind-the-scenes content, plus voting for Tuesday games, which you also get to watch. It's awesome. Anyways, yeah. So Emperor's Children, very interesting.
Very, very interesting. I'm really curious to see how it plays today. I heard all the stuff. I heard all the things, all the lists and everything. It's one of those things you can't really fully grasp until you see it on the table.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
But on paper, sounds really cool. Sounds really fun.
It is very cool. And a few games in now, I feel like I'm starting to figure out how the army is supposed to work. So I'm curious. Also curious how it goes into Reaper's Wager, which is an army that can be very fragile, but also hits quite hard. And I am power armor at the end of the day.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a very, very fun and certainly stressful game for us.
Oh, yeah.
Classic Thursday.
Yeah, classic Thursday. We make up for Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday, fun and silly, fun and lousy time. Thursday, we're breaking it out. And then Saturday's later, that's supposed to be serious. So that's expected. Well, folks, of course, if you enjoyed this content, leave a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments below what you are thinking for Emperor's Children lists. We'd love to know and love to hear about it and love to discuss it with you. We're going to be going live in just an hour and a half with our game of the Coteries versus the Reaper's Wager. It's been a lovely time. Be safe out there. We'll catch you all next time on Tabletop. Bye.